The University of Calgary Libraries and Cultural Resources presents Skills for Systematic Reviews. EndNote: Identifying and removing external duplicates. This video will show you how to identify and remove external duplicates in EndNote. Before you begin this step, you should have already imported the results from two different databases and removed any internal duplicates. It is also important to note that you do not do this step after you have imported all of your search results from all of the databases that you searched. You need to record how many external duplicates you remove from each database result set. This is difficult to do if you are identifying results from all of your databases at the same time. In order to keep track of how many duplicates we identify in each database set, we remove external duplicates every time we import a new database. So I have imported the search results from Medline and CINAHL, as you can see here, Medline, CINAHL, and removed any internal duplicates. Now I will select all references in my library, and this is to ensure that when we look for duplicates, we're searching both groups, Medline and CINAHL. And I'm going to select References, and then scroll down and select Find Duplicates. A pop-up like this will appear, providing information with which you can compare duplicates. We are not going to use this, however. Instead, we are going to select Cancel because we are going to manually check the duplicates, just like we did when looking for internal duplicates. You should now see that we are in a new library called Duplicate References. This library contains all of the duplicates that EndNote identified. So you can see that all of the duplicates are highlighted in this kind of gray color. To keep them highlighted, hold down Control, select one of the highlighted records, and then while still holding Control, select it again. Now all of the duplicate references are going to be highlighted in blue like this, which makes it easier to compare. You'll also note that all of the duplicate references that are highlighted are from CINAHL, and this is because of the order in which we imported the database sets. And that's why it's important to import them in the order of priority that you have set, just to keep that consistency and to make sure that we're removing the external duplicates from CINAHL so that we can keep those records consistent when we say that we removed however many records from CINAHL in the Excel workbook. So just like we did with the internal duplicates, we're going to compare the page numbers. If the page numbers are different, then that's a pretty good indicator. It may not be a duplicate, and we should probably take a closer look later. So, and just to note, I'm sure most of you would be able to figure this out yourself, but if we look at this top two references here, 381-6 and 381-386, even though they look a little bit different, we know that they are the same page number, which means they're probably the same record. So then if we just scroll down, most of the ones in these two sets look pretty good. Now I just want to point out I'm kind of speeding through, but that's just because I took the time to look for these earlier. When you do this step, make sure to look very carefully. Some people also find it easier to hold up a sheet of paper to the computer screen just to make it easier to compare and make sure that they're looking at each record as they go down. So here's the first set that looks a little bit different here. So we can see the page numbers are 1209 and then 1 to 8. So those may not be duplicates. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold down Control and then just deselect it. And then we can take a closer look later to see what's going on there. And then here's one where the page number was left blank. So we might be able to just assume that that's just an incomplete record and they're actually referring to the same thing. But it's better safe than sorry, so I would recommend that you just deselect that as well in order to take a closer look and compare later. And then here we have another one, so 20 and 1-9, just going to just select that. And then right at the bottom here, we have 15, then 1-13. So we're just going to just deselect that one as well. So once you're sure that you have checked all of the records, we're just going to move the selected duplicates into our duplicates folder. We just do that by selecting one of the highlighted records and dragging it over to the folder. So now's another good time just to double check to make sure that all of the duplicate records we identified are from CINAHL, and indeed they are. So if you saw a Medline record, that might be an indicator that you did something wrong and you might just want to go back and redo this step. So we can go ahead now and just delete the duplicate references group because we don't need it anymore. So that's just by right-clicking and selecting delete group. Yes, we are sure. And now might be a good point where you want to go and record that we found 183 external duplicates in CINAHL in our workbook. So now we're going to remove our external duplicates, but first we're going to make sure that we save our duplicates to our backup duplicate library. So we're going to go into our duplicates library if we're not there already, and then we're going to select all the records by clicking one and then hitting Control A. And then we're going to right click and select Copy References To. Now you can see here that I already have my duplicates library loaded as an option. So I could just select that, or you can find your library by clicking Choose Library. I'm just going to use the shortcut here, and says it's successfully copied, but just to double check, you can click File, Open Library, or Open Recent Library if you've used it recently. So I'm just going to go to my duplicate library, and I can see that all of the external duplicates imported into my duplicate library. So I'm just going to quickly select all, Control A, and drag those into my CINAHL external duplicate folder. And this way they're nice and safe if ever I have to refer back to them for any reason. So I'm just going to go back to my systematic review library. So now as my last step, I'm just going to get rid of them from my systematic review library by dragging them into the trash. And then I'm just going to right click and then empty trash. Yes. So you should see some of your numbers change. So under CINAHL, we now have 67 unique records that we found in CINAHL and 488 unique records total. If your numbers don't match up to what you have in your workbook, then you might need to go back and double check and just go through the process a little bit more carefully, keeping more careful track of things. But if everything looks good, you have successfully identified and removed external duplicates from your first two databases. So for each additional database that you add, you repeat the exact same process. You import the search results, identify and remove internal duplicates, and then identify and remove external duplicates, making sure to record the search result numbers in your workbook. This video was adapted with permission from Basic Training in Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analyses, Managing Results, from the Research Medical Library at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center, and funded by the University of Calgary Teaching and Learning Grant.